And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. And as you can see with Joe, it's a snack pack right here for you at the Lakers Fast Break. Also, as well, go ahead and check out what we're doing with the Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcast. Plus, I also do as well Inside Sports Fantasy Football and Game Source. Go ahead and check those out as well. But again, Lakers Fast Break, please like, follow, and subscribe. I cannot thank you enough for your humongous support for us in our earlier show today, our live NBA free agency special, which has done a record number for us. We've got also a record number of subscribers. And please, if you haven't subscribed yet, you please go ahead and do so. Subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air. But man, I tell you what, over 3,000 views, over 1,000 more than we've ever done on this show, almost 50 subscribers. We just cannot thank you enough. Another 300 on Facebook. Just truly appreciate everybody watching, listening. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Also, as well, LakersBall.com. Go ahead and check out what Joe Soro, aka Ox1947, has been saying right there for you at LakersBall.com. Our good friends, Jamie Sweet and Tom Wong, Laker Tom right there. Laker Tom is the #1 Lakers blogger, and you can find him at LakersBall.com. Gonna see if we can still get somewhere at Lakerholics.com. Want to go ahead and see if I get the Lakerholics on this weekend. Some way, somehow, we'll try to work it out. I know Laker Tom has more to say. I think he's a little bit tired after being on the air so many hours, so we'll go ahead and give him a rest. Yeah, well, he's not as young as you or I, Joe, so just, it's just the way it is, my friend. So go ahead and see if we can check out Laker Tom, but check out Laker Tom at Lakerholics.com. Our good friend John McCallion, go ahead and check him out today on YouTube, on his channel, and of course, Stone Hansen, who did a tremendous job right there for you almost all the show that we did. Yeah, that's really nice when I'm doing my intro. That's great. Thank you, Joe.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. Anytime.
But
Anything you need.
oh my gosh. But it is Stone Hansen from the Upside Swings NBA Draft Podcast. Please go ahead and support him today at the Upside Swings NBA Draft Podcast. And if you can support all of that, plus a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts, it is sincerely appreciated. Well, I tell you what, it's been a very busy day for the NBA, over $1 billion and then some. Closing in on $2 billion has been handed out in either extensions or free agent signings. It's just been, the money's just been flying all over the place. And the Lakers have been dishing out some of that money today with some signings that, again, if you listen to the experts on ESPN, the ones that are still there after the layoffs today, the ones that are there are speaking great things about the Lakers. Torian Prince signing for 1 year and $4.5 million. Also, as well, you've got Gabe Vincent, who signed later on 3 years, $33 million. Then you had Rui Hashimura coming back to the team on a 3-year, $54 million contract. And then Cam Reddish, who again is a favorite of the chat board, the best Lakers chat board that's out there at the Lakers Fast Break, signed for 2 years at the vet minimum, although the second year is a player option. So we'll see what happens with those 4, 1 returning and 3 new entries, and see what the Lakers can still do with the roster. But here today to talk about the day in general, plus I will go ahead later on and talk about some major extensions doled out in the NBA after we went off the air. Good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out today at LakersBall.com. It's Ox1947. And please support him with his awesome company that is Simblades. Simblades with a Y.com. It is Joe Soro. And Joe, you needed some time in the pool to relax after such a busy day for the Lakers. Overall, I'm kind of glad to see what they did. It was a good day. A lot of the experts are saying it was a good day for the Lakers. Getting Gabe Vincent on that kind of contract, which, whether you like him or don't like it, it's got to be, to me, in my estimation, for someone who's played so many playoff games, a valuable contract to go ahead and trade later on. Then you have Rui Hashimura, another, I guess, somewhat trade-friendly contract, about $17 a year. You have also as well Torian Prince, who could be a steal at 4.5. Your thoughts on the day for the Lakers so far?
I'd say it was a B. It could turn into an A if they show up show up to what we hope they can be. Uh, the Lakers got depth. They got youth. They have players that are going to fit into a particular role, which is what you want. Uh, we're going to have a full training camp with this team, and we're going to be able to really set the stage here for another run, and hoping that the Lakers can build the continuity, build the chemistry, and go as far as they can. We still have some open ended situations here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Reeves, I believe, will be signed. D'Angelo Russell, I believe there's something going on there where the Lakers are exploring things. And it's not public. It's not anything that we know what's going on. But with the way these contracts are being thrown out, I don't know. I'm going to take a guess that if there is something out there that the Lakers can do to use D'Angelo Russell to get a good return, I would think that that's something they'd like to work on before they officially bring him back.
Or worst comes to worst, you keep him, and then you have him and Gabe Vincent as your point guard and backup point guard.
Yes, and we're going to need to figure out something here at the center position. The longer we wait, the longer that becomes a problem. We need a center, folks, and
Yeah.
I don't want a Wenyen Gabriel minimum contract guy, and that's going to be a problem because I think that's the route it's going to go. We're going to have to get lucky in finding a serviceable big at the veteran minimum. Otherwise, we're going to have problems at the basket.
Roberto, and that's what I think Joe means by considering you're giving them a B. What would you have done differently? I think that's the focus as well. Our focus on this show for several weeks has, as Joe said it, ever since the end of the playoff run for the Lakers, has been, a priority for us is to see AD go back to the four, just to save on some of the wear and tear for him. And in doing so, I think that you do need to find a center that could fit very well with his type of skill set. We had mentioned before, obviously, Brook Lopez would have been a dream for us come true. We don't think that's going to happen at this point unless you do a sign and trade involving D'Angelo Russell, which I don't think Milwaukee at this point would be interested in because that's who you would have to do it with. But there's also Christian Wood still out there as someone who could still get you some nice numbers, can stretch it out to the back end of the floor, can play alongside AD, doesn't give you the kind of defense that Brook Lopez gives you, but again, someone that you may be able to get at a lower price. I don't think you could get him for the vet minimum or for whatever the Lakers can scrounge up. And then again, also, Roberto, it would also be a fact that you would give the Lakers an A if we definitively knew or could sign already a D'Lo and obviously Austin Reeves, especially. Big sigh right there.
It, there's not much to discuss anymore. We've gone through many hours here today explaining the process and what can come. The Lakers need to go into next season understanding that this is a title run and everyone needs to be focused and understand their roles. And I don't see anyone here that's going to be a monkey wrench in it.
The only thing is, though, Roberto has a great idea as far as Lopez and then bringing Bamba back on the minimum. But the
I
thing
don't
is,
think
though,
Bamba's ever coming back.
the only thing, though, is with Lopez side of it, Lopez has watched Vucevic in Chicago sign for 20 million. And who else signed for 20 million? Another center signed for 20 million. Escapes me right now, but that was very questionable in him signing for that much. Lopez, to my recollection earlier, was better than both of those individuals. And I think that Lopez playing right now, especially the fact that he was finished second in the defensive player of the year voting, was one of the leaders in block shots and can still stretch it out for almost 40% from three. I think that is the kind of absolutely perfect compliment to AD. And I just don't see him going for now for less than 20, 25 million. 20 million for Vucevic. My gosh, Lopez has got to go for more, right?
So let's talk about this first. What if no one signs an offer sheet to Austin Reeves? He takes the 4-year, $52 million contract that the Lakers would offer him, correct? How does that change the dynamic now?
Well, that's much lower than what the Lakers would be anticipating to pay.
Correct. Now, how do you pivot from that? What can the Lakers do then to acquire a big? Can they? Will it matter? Is it allowed? These are the things that I am thinking about right now. What happens then? Because I thought Austin would get an offer by now. I'm trying to understand why he doesn't have one. Is someone going to wake up tomorrow morning and go, okay, we'll throw it at him, or are they looking at it as, look, why waste our time? They're gonna match it. We'd rather focus on something we can control.
But Jakob was the other one who signed for 20 million for 4 years. So
yeah, since we got off air, there's been some contracts that just made me scratch my head. Desmond Bane, 207 million.
Yep, 4 years, 5 years, $207 million. And then Tyrese Halliburton has, I believe, what if all incentives are hit, was that up to 230 or 260?
260. I don't understand these contracts. At the least, if you need to cover the 90% cap, I don't understand why these guys don't spread the wealth. Why are you dropping that much money on these guys? These are second-tier players. $260 million for Tyrese Halliburton? What the hell is he going to win you? Oh, Joe, he's 23 years old and going up. He's not worth 260. Jeremy Grant getting 32. These guys are not $32 million players. These guys aren't going to do jack crap for your team to win. What? I don't understand these contracts. You keep putting these aprons and hats and chef's knives and whatever the hell you want to call it these days to scare the owners into not making these stupid contracts. They keep getting worse. What are they doing? Setting up a hard cap at some point? But even then, they'll start dropping $80 million a year on a player, and they'll be able to field 5 guys. This doesn't make any sense. These guys have no idea how to field a team. 90% of this league has no idea how to field a team.
Do you think Toronto overpaid for Dennis Schroder, who went out and got a 2-year, $26 million contract?
Timing works for signing like that. They had 0 point guards when Fred VanVleet left. And Majuri, you've heard me, I'm not a big fan of him. I'm not a big fan of him in general, like as a person. He kind of bothers me. But other than Popovich handing him Kawhi Leonard, what has this guy done before and after that year? Everyone was bowing to him like he was Gandhi during that year. And then after that, what has he done? What did he do before then? It's easy when someone hands you something, right? Freaking Popovich didn't want to trade Kawhi to LA. Didn't want to trade him anywhere where he wanted to go. He sent him to North Siberia up in Toronto. Just so happened that everything kind of was in line at that moment. You had the Siakams, you had the Fred VanVleets, you had Kyle Lowry at the last year was really good. And you won a championship because at the same time you won the championship because Kevin Durant blew out his Achilles. So what do you do? I don't know. What do you do at this point? I don't know. You have to do what you got to do. And I think I'm happy for Dennis because he got a little bit of his money back, the money that he turned down. Not all of it.
A little bit. No, not the 80 plus million.
Going to Toronto wasn't good for him either because the taxes up there are worse than anywhere else in America.
but the $80 million he was offered originally so many years ago, I don't think he'll ever be able to recoup that. This probably will be one of the largest contracts he ever has for the rest of his careers. But I just think, he gives you certain things. I know in our audience, he's very divisive and polarizing as a player. Some people like Call Me Oso is very sad to see him go. There are others that are happy to see him go. So it's I guess beauty in the eye of the beholder there. Is he a starting point guard in the league? Well, Toronto just by default is going to have him there, but I don't know. As a backup point guard, I always thought he was very effective. He did win Sixth Man of the Year at one time, but now you've got him as your starting point guard in Toronto on a contract that's even larger per year basis than what we signed for Gabe Vincent.
Gabe Vincent has a fire that appealed to the Lakers. It's someone that Pat Riley found, Spoelstra coached, and I think that's what they're looking for. I think that's what they were looking for, and how that plays out during the season, we're going to find out. I don't know enough about Gabe Vincent to make a really true assessment. I do know that he was born in Modesto, California, which isn't too far from a town called Turlock, California, where I grew up. He played for the Stockton Kings, and then eventually ended up in Miami. And
it doesn't alleviate your small guard problem because he is 6'2". You're trading essentially a 6'2" guard for a 6'2" guard.
Yeah, but someone who's got a little bit more feistiness in him, in which you can stick Gabe at a player and have him be up in his grill. Whereas Dennis Schroder isn't really that type of player. We might have traded an offensive player for a defensive player at that point, which it would help in the long run on this team. The team does need some guards that can actually guard. I think that kind of hurt us a little bit, especially with Jamal Murray in the Western Conference Finals. Gabe didn't have a good finals either, though, and that's a problem. Which they see something though there that they think they can develop, and that he might be coming up. And maybe he didn't do well in his first series, but in the finals, but maybe he might be better next year, which is I'm hoping that is the case.
Well, he's at the prime of his career. He's 27 years old, so I mean,
Yeah,
he's
I
not going to get a whole lot better.
I gave them a B. I gave the Lakers a B mainly because they're taking care of their own stuff. The little things here and there are okay. I haven't been too excited. I haven't been too down on any of the outside signings yet. I'm very, very, very anxious to see what they do with D'Angelo Russell. If they end up finding a package where they trade him for, let's say, a big and maybe another player, that would probably move that B into a B plus or an A minus. I want to see.
I just wish Gabe Vincent shot better because this year he's
Don't we
only
all?
33%.
But if he shot better, he wouldn't be a MLE player. He'd be like these guys that are getting $20 to $25 million. Bruce Brown got $22 million for I don't know what, for winning a championship with the team and being loud. Going to Indiana where he's not going to win anything.
Preach is asking us, do you see the Lakers signing Christian Woods? Remember a couple days ago when I was the first one to say that out there? Nobody in Lakers land or Lakers podcast land was saying that on the radio. Anyone? I dropped that at first, and it's gone like wildfire since. There is still a chance Christian Woods can actually go ahead and maybe sign a 1 year for a very small amount, but I know that wouldn't make him happy. But you know what? On a team like this, he could show out and get a nice contract and rejuvenate his career.
Will it be a Malik Monk situation where he has to take
good point
a small contract, which would be a veteran minimum, by the way?
Yeah,
that's all the Lakers have. Would it be a minimum? If you got Christian Wood for the minimum, you absolutely won in this offseason.
Yeah, that's an A.
That is an A now. Because now you have a guy that can actually do something there. It's not just some guy that's going to eat up minutes. He can actually do stuff.
Because okay, think about it, everyone. Okay, two of the few options that are left is San Antonio and Houston. He's already been to Houston. Houston has had that experience before, and even though they do need help at the five, they don't want. I don't. You'd assume the way he left on such bad terms would probably say he's not probably very welcome or wanted in Houston. And San Antonio, is he the right fit for someone like Victor Wembanyama because he needs his own touches instead of just creating a lot of offense around him? Christian Wood's going to be the guy that if he doesn't get enough touches in the offense, he may sulk on a team like that in San Antonio where you're not winning very much right away. With the Lakers on a team that is contending for a world title, he may be someone that you could start at the five, play also backup at times. He just alternate between what you see and what you want from him. No, he doesn't give you great defense like we've talked about, but he can give you a little bit of rim protection. But with AD alongside Joe, it could be a situation that they mesh very well. It could. I didn't say it would. I said it could be a situation where they mesh very well.
I'm hearing that the Heat are interested.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know
He
if.
wouldn't play center though, unless you're moving Bam to the four.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get lucky there, and I think,
Yeah.
I think, I just don't see a team not taking a chance on him at this point. He's 27. He's just hitting his prime. And I have a hard time believing there isn't going to be a team that's going to offer him $3 or $4 million at the very least.
I
So
mean, we still have. Oh, go ahead.
he would have to want to come play to LA. He would want to have to bet on himself and come to LA, kill it, win a championship with LA, and then get paid next year. I don't know if he's willing to make that sacrifice. I think there's going to be a team like the Nets or Miami maybe that throws him 3 or 4 mil or 5 mil or 6 or 7, whatever. And then at that point, he gets more than what he would get in LA. If he wants to show himself off, I don't think there's a bigger stage in LA at this point. And
Absolutely,
I don't
especially
think
for someone who could start at center.
he has a starting position. He would have LeBron and AD take up a lot of attention, and he would be scoring at will. I mean, we get 16 points from that center position. That is absolutely gigantic, especially if he's playing 30 to 35 minutes. He's probably going to play 30 to 32 minutes, actually. I don't think he'll play 35. But if you can get him to play 30 minutes at center, you are doing a huge favor for AD and the offense in general. And if he's not going to play good defense, at least if he can play average defense, that's enough. You don't need him to play, Dwight Howard in his prime defense. Just be there. You're 6'9", you've got a huge wingspan, you got AD roaming with you, you got now a couple guys that are more bulldogs that at the perimeter. Make it work. Make it work all the way through.
I will say though, Joe, if they do sign him, they have the ability. There's about after the $11 million per year that you signed Vincent to, there was 12.4 on that exception. If you try to finagle the numbers, you could get an extra million here, maybe another million there, but that would probably only mean you could sign him for a contract maybe around 3 at the most, 3 or 4. I'm thinking as far as maybe you could squeeze out 4 million somewhere as far as squeezing that out there, but it wouldn't be. You're still, like you said, you're not talking about a huge number for him.
There's still an opportunity for the Lakers to open up more money, but that would need to involve D'Angelo Russell not signing.
Now that would open up a lot more money.
Yeah.
Could be another 15 to 20 right there.
Yes, but I think the Lakers don't. Gabe Vincent and their current guard setup is going to function better with D'Angelo there. And I say that because that's what we can control. If you just have Gabe Vincent being there, you're probably going to have a problem with him doing what he needs to do. If you have D'Angelo there, it's a little bit easier for that to be set up. D'Angelo's going to start no matter what, and Gabe will come off the bench and supplant and play in certain matchups depending on who they're playing. You don't want to lose sight of that. Yes, we do need a big, but not a sacrificing something else, especially with the league being what it is. The league is a very guard making shot dominant league, and we need those guys to make shots. And we're needing our Devandos and the Ruiz. We need these guys to work their butts off and be shot makers here this next season, because if they're making those shots, it's going to obviously put everything together the right way.
Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro from SimBlades and LakersBall.com, along with me, Gerald Glassford from the Lakers Fast Break. Thanks so much for watching and listening. And again, a special thank you to everyone who is part of our live coverage of NBA free agency. This is the free agency wrap-up for you. Hope you've enjoyed it as well. And if you have not yet, please subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air. We do plan weekend shows until this whole thing comes out, as far as shows that we need to go ahead and come back to you on, because the fact that there is still much to discuss and still much to go ahead and take care of here, the Lakers. I do want to mention to you, Joe, if it is his verified Twitter, and like actually Stone said, you can purchase blue checks. But if you look at his verified Twitter, supposedly, quote unquote, Christian Wood has a very interesting picture. If you look at it, my friend, I won't spoil it for you, but if you look at the picture, it might give a clue as to where he might want to go and play basketball for Christian Wood.
And this is on his Twitter.
It's on his Twitter. And I think the kid, I know he played here at UNLV, but I believe he is from the Southern California. I'm going to look that up right now, but I just want to make sure and let everybody know, because he is, he's from Long Beach. So, he is a SoCal kid at heart. With that, there could be some signs that, he may want to come here. And I know we're stressing a lot on Christian Wood, but given the alternatives, everyone, and I still think we need a backup center along that as well, just because, if we are fortunate enough to sign a Christian Wood, we would still need another backup center like a Jackson Hayes or, Mason Plumlee, et cetera, et cetera. So if we are able to sign the, 2 7-footers still with the remaining money we have left, and still get Rui, and still get, of course, who we already signed, and still get, of course, AR-15, and of course, still get D'Angelo Russell. My gosh, that could be something special. And Joe and I would probably have to give an A and say Rob did it once again. I'm still on the fence with Rob. Still 2 years of miscalculations, leading into the trade deadline where he really did well. Your thoughts, Joe? Did you get a chance to see Christian Wood's Twitter?
I'm looking for it right now. There's too many Christian Woods.
Okay, well then I'll let you go ahead, and it is 30. Try to go ahead with 35. You'll see the number 35.
Let me find it here real quick. 1 second.
Okay, because that's the number he usually likes to go with. So.
Okay, so here we are, Twitter.
Just 30, yeah, at Chris Wood _5.
Okay. Is that
all of our audience and
now he just posted that today?
No, it's just something he's had on his header for I'm assuming for a while, because I don't see any type of changes on that.
Gerald, everyone's a Kobe fan, and everyone's a Laker fan, and growing up, you know that, right?
Yes, I understand that.
But
I'm trying to provide hope for our audience out there, Joe.
Hope? I don't care right now about that. I want to make sure that we get things done. Hoping
well, it's 10:30 at night.
There's no hope in this business.
10:30 at night in U.S. Pacific time. The Lakers still don't have significant bigs to added to the lineup, unless you want to bring in the kid and have him play, the undrafted kid, and bring him Charlton and bring him in here to go ahead and play significant minutes. If you're doing that, that doesn't sound like a championship formula right now, unless the kid can just knock it out of the park.
Darvin Ham doesn't like to play bigs. He likes to play small
rookies.
Guards.
Okay.
He doesn't like to play. He likes 3 guard lineups, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So, we have to wait and see what happens with D'Angelo. If they sign D'Angelo and they sign Austin Reeves, we're gonna get probably 2 bigs at the minimum.
That's what we need to fill out this roster.
Who we're gonna get, I don't know. I don't know really. I don't know who the hell they're gonna get. It's not. Plumlee was one of the guys we were worried about, but apparently I'm hearing that he's gonna get a pretty good contract. Is that true?
Well, again, Vucevic, Podol, they both got 20 million a year. That's why I think Brooke Lopez would have signed earlier, but seeing those contracts, the one that was signed a couple days ago with Vucevic, and seeing Podol's now at 4 for 80. These are guys. In the case of Podol, he can't shoot a free throw to save his life, but actually is a very good rim protector. But yeah, he doesn't shoot threes. Again, Brooke Lopez is older than those two guys, but he would be the better option for most NBA teams.
We're gonna need a lane spreader at the center position. So we're in trouble on that. So I don't know who we can get at the veteran minimum that can at least spread the floor a little bit and play defense. Who is out there that can do that? That's
That's
those
that,
those are the
there's
guys that are making
very
$20
few
million
options.
a year. So that basically means it's going to be all on AD again to protect the paint and to play the five if they don't get that done.
Adam's asking if we think that they're planning on using AD at the five again.
If they don't get a
Look,
legitimate big, no,
yeah,
yes, well, very likely, which I'm not a big fan of, unfortunately. I
yeah.
think you're going to wear them out again, and we're going to have a problem in the playoffs if that's what the 82 game season ends up being.
And if something happens to AD, guess who's going to go on a rant immediately about what he said today? You had the opportunity to go out and get a big, and you just didn't
They
get it
didn't.
done.
They didn't really.
But I'm just saying it's an if
Yeah,
something
it's
happens.
one of those situations where you do want those guys, but they're not available, and you can't pay them unless you use D'Angelo's contract to sign and trade for a big and maybe somebody else. But then now you're left with a thin guard lineup, and you're screwed then too. And then you have LeBron playing most of the point the whole game. It's a tough situation. It is a
Preach
tough
is asking
situation. Yeah.
Preach is asking about Willie Cauley Stein, who unfortunately has never been able to pan out well as a former top 10 pick. He was playing in the G League, I think, for Mexico City, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he's someone that, I mean, it could be out there. I don't know if he's rejuvenated his career in workouts or whatnot. If he's still able to go ahead and get back in the league, if he's got a good enough rep now to get back in the league. Your thoughts on Willie Cauley Stein as a backup for the Lakers? I think that's someone that, I don't know. Are you getting the Willie Cauley Stein in Sacramento, or are you getting the Willie Cauley Stein in Dallas that stunk it up and got released and sent to Mexico City?
Are you getting Willie Cauley Stein the bust or Willie Cauley Stein the guy that doesn't belong in the NBA?
Yeah.
Those are two different Willie Cauley Steins, and they're both equally ass.
Call Me also
I think he
says,
was what he was really good at was getting tattoos. So that's what he was good at, and looking like a guy that straight up came out of prison. That was what that was his contribution as an NBA player. Every time I saw him in Sacramento, he had a new tattoo, and it looked like he had just gotten out of bed. Sorry, guys, I don't. I think when you're a professional in any industry, if you constantly look like you're unprofessional, it does trickle down to your job eventually, especially if your focus isn't there. I'm
Alex
not.
Len is another bust, but he did provide some key minutes. Playing. He was Sabonis's replacement. He would come in for 10 minutes a game in the playoffs. Maybe he can give you that kind of work in the regular season for the Los Angeles Lakers. Although during the regular season, the Kings really never gave him a chance. And then you've got DeMarcus Cousins. I think his name is going to be shouted out there for the next 2-3 years. I know he's working out here in Vegas. I know he lives here in Vegas, and I know he works out constantly. But I think the ship has sailed with Cousins.
Yeah,
I really do.
stop with what everybody has to stop with these has-beens and these guys that are done.
Yeah, but
They've had
call me also. Cousins was like, that was how many injuries before the
that was before he tore his
Achilles
quad.
and the Achilles?
Yeah, his career started to end after the quad tear, and then his Achilles blowing out was the clincher. He's done, and you have to understand, DeMarcus Cousins was the quintessential using his talent at its peak. He never really, he wasn't one of those guys that's going to work on his game. He just used his talent. He was so talented. That's all he really needed. He's kind of like the Tracy McGrady of centers. As soon as the talent ran out, he was useless.
Agreed, call. Yeah, this shows how desperate we're getting for a center, and that again, that's why we can't give the team an A yet. Plus, also making sure we resign, of course, Austin Reeves and hopefully D'Lo as well, or at least utilize D'Lo and assign a trade to build more depth for this team. I know that was mentioned that is Lonnie a goner. I think Lonnie Walker fourth is a goner. I just think it again, someone who was not able to sustain his spot in the rotation. He did come back for that one shining moment in the playoffs. Your thoughts on Lonnie Walker? I mean, if he came back, I could see him running into the same situation again where he falls behind some guys and he stops playing for this team.
Well, there's only so many minutes and so many jobs. Yeah, I don't know necessarily if he was in the doghouse. There wasn't enough playing time. Guys, this is a 7 to 8 man league. Yes, you can get lucky and run a 10-man rotation in the regular season, but you have to have guys that are entrenched in the mindset of what the team needs. And 7 to 8 though is the consistent number of the rotation. And you have LeBron James. You're going to have Anthony Davis, hopefully Reeves. Then you're going to have D'Angelo, and then you're going to have Vando. That's your starting five. Now you have three more guys that are going to play consistently after that. Now what? How are you going to play everybody? What, 12 minutes? 10 minutes?
And I've told you, Joe, we talked about Max Christie, and it's like, okay, everybody's talking about, during last season, let's play Max Christie more. Let's play Max Christie more. Let's play Max Christie more. And then I hear we see all the moves that are going today, and then all of a sudden I stop hearing about let's play Max Christie more. I stop hearing about that, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not the biggest Max Christie fan in the world yet, okay, because I still have to see more because I haven't seen enough of him to know whether or not that's going to be something that's going to last out. And the fact is, the guy has already 1 year left on his contract. So we've got to see sooner rather than later if he's going to be something that the Lakers can use in the rotation.
And that plays a factor in this too. How does that work with Prince and Gabe Vincent and Vando? And then if Max Christie starts improving, where do you put him now?
Yeah.
How does he build any rhythm, especially when you're talking about a team or a league in general where shooting is paramount, right? How do you get into a rhythm? How do you get consistency? Not everyone is Vinnie Johnson, folks. Vinnie Johnson was called the microwave when he played for the Pistons because he had a rare talent where he didn't have to warm up. He could come off the bench, didn't matter whether it was beginning of the second quarter, middle of the first, end of the fourth. He did his job, but that is a talent in its own. Someone who it doesn't matter when, what, 12 minutes, 28 minutes, 30 minutes, he comes in there and does his work. That's not the norm, guys. That takes a certain talent. That's a talent in itself to be able to do that. Most guys don't know how to do that. And especially in a league where shooting is the most important thing, shooting needs rhythm. Shooting needs rhythm. Shooting needs repetition. And you're going to have to play guys based off of quick spurts, running a team concept and knowing their role and knowing that their role means we're going to put you here, put you there for a few minutes. You're not going to be playing 30 to 35 minutes so you can maximize your contracts and your ability to make more money when you're a free agent. A lot of these guys, it's hard, guys. It's only a 15-man roster. You got the two-way players, and then you have 13 guys that are on the roster, right? As normal guys. So two ways, and then 13. So let's just say 15. 15 players on game day times 30. You're talking about 450 players. Imagine that, guys. I want you to really put that in perspective. 450 players are playing in the number one league on the planet. That's it in a given night, in a game night. That's it. So if we're sitting here calling guys overpaid and all that, are they really overpaid? Are we really surprised when they want more playing time so they can showcase their skills? Not really. Not when you look at it from a different perspective, the common sense perspective. So Max Christie's going to go into his last season under contract at the moment. What do you think he's going to want to do? He's going to want to play. Is he going to give the effort if he doesn't get the playing time? I don't know. Seems like a good guy. Seems to get his role. Well, how is Vincent going to play? I'm sorry, Prince and Gabe Vincent. And how is D'Angelo Russell going to play if something happens where the Lakers only give him a 2-year, $40 million contract because the market didn't throw anything at him? How does that come out? There's a lot of scenarios here. A lot of scenarios. Jackson Hayes is a very interesting thing. Don't be surprised if that's the guy we end up with.
But he doesn't do anything for you outside of being in the dunker spot, and obviously, being a rim protector, which would be great alongside AD. But then again, you're talking about another non-shooter that you'd have to probably put him in as a reserve role and not as a starter. So AD will not be able to slide down to the floor consistently.
Not consistently, but he is a almost 7-footer, 23 years old.
Can run the floor.
Can run the floor. Can, drop hammers down if the ball is placed in the right place. And at this point, you have to, again, beggars can't be choosers. So you take what you can get. It's better than anything we got now. And at least you got some size there, and a young guy. And young guy, maybe he starts getting it after coming to LA. I don't know, but it's going to be a veteran minimum pickup, so you can't really fault him if he plays well or not.
Preach! I will tell you right now, that's probably the best scenario, since Lopez looks like he's being priced out of the market. He's being priced. He's probably going to get a 2-year, $50 million deal or thereabouts would be my guess at this point, because I think he's irritated that Vucevic and Podol, who are not as good as him, getting better money. Yeah, they're a little younger but Vucevic not by much. But yeah, they're a little younger, but they don't have the talent and skill set that, of course, we see from Brook Lopez. But I would say right now, under the circumstances, if we could get Christian Wood on a contract and then bring in Jackson Hayes as a reserve big, Joe, I think there you go. A+ right there. A+ for Rob.
I don't know how you do that, but
I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, that would probably involve a sign and trade for D'Lo, unless for somehow you could convince Wood to just get, what we talked about, the $4 or $5 million we could squeeze out, and then sign, of course, Jackson Hayes the minimum.
Who's a center right now that might want to get traded?
That's a good question. Outside of DeAndre Ayton, I don't know how happy he is with the new lineup there in Phoenix, but Frank Vogel's willing to give him a try. But Phoenix may be hard-pressed to go ahead and trade him. They did sign a lot of, halfway decent veteran minimums today. I really like Yuta Watanabe at the veteran minimum. I like a couple of the other ones that they got. But still, if they really want to provide some depth, they may have to trade DeAndre Ayton. But again, that's more than what the Lakers could offer as far as in trade, even with a sign and trade of D'Angelo.
Yeah, I don't see anybody other than. I mean, there's really no big right now that's been on the market other than DeAndre Ayton, and Phoenix wants to probably see what Frank Vogel can do with him. If he wasn't going to listen to Monty Williams, why would he listen to Frank Vogel? I still say Phoenix has a plan to trade him if they have to.
Preach is asking about Serge Ibaka. I think he's had too many injuries. His back has been
Serge since his back went out, he's been useless. It's not the same as Dwight Howard's back.
I remember when they traded him to Milwaukee, he was going to be that last key piece, and although I think he did win a championship there, he really never gave them the contribution that they needed.
No, you can't do. Serge was he was very bouncy, and when your back is kaput and you lose that, you're not going to be the same player. Miles Turner, I don't believe is on the block, guys. I know Laker Tom would be disappointed in hearing that, but there is no indication that Indiana wants to trade him. So I don't see what's going on there. Now, if you came to me, so Roberto, that's an interesting question.
Drummond is not popular earlier today with
No,
our
Drummond is
crew.
not popular, but I'm looking at it from a different perspective. If
Mhm.
Chicago said we need a guard,
Mhm.
we need a guard, and we want
A point guard.
a point guard, right? I still say there's a deal in Chicago there if Reinsdorf wants to play ball, and you use D'Angelo Russell as the key piece, and you try to get back Caruso here, and then maybe try to finagle DeMar DeRozan here. But I don't know. That's, I guess, me just kind of looking at fantasy and hoping for that. But let's just say, let's keep it simple then. Let's say, what's Drummond making right now?
3. He signed for 3 with
Okay.
Chicago.
Okay. So it would have to be another player that gets involved there. Would you take Drummond, Caruso, and one other player from Chicago for D'Angelo Russell? That's the question.
Intel, let me ask you this again. Ask yourself this again. Vucevic just got 20 a year. Jakob Poeltl just got 20 a year. What do you think Brook Lopez is now asking for himself at this point in time?
You have to also understand as Bruce, I'm sorry, you have to understand that Brook is not a young guy either.
Yeah.
So it's not that plays a factor in why these other guys are getting those contracts because they're young. Brook is not.
No, Vucevic is still on the wrong side of 30.
Let's look at their age. Okay, so Vucevic is
31, 32.
31, and then you have Brook Lopez.
He's 36, 37.
He's 36. That's a huge difference, G.
Yeah, I'm just telling you that's why it would be a shorter term contract. But you can see his agent ask. I'm telling you what his agent would ask. I'm not saying what the market's been blown up already for centers. They've been overpaying for ever since Vucevic a couple of days ago signed for $20 million a year. That's an overpay and then some for Vucevic.
The overpay is an interesting word that we've been saying here today.
It's trending worldwide on Twitter for a reason.
Yeah, but it's a dumb word if you think about it. I just told you guys we have 450 players on a given day in the NBA that are playing. The world has 8 billion people in it. Are they really overpaid? Is anyone really overpaid? You tell me.
Okay. Do you think you saw value in Vucevic getting $20 million a year for a team that's going nowhere?
Value for winning championships? No. What is the goal of these teams? How many? I would love to get an honest survey of all 30 owners, and I want to find out what the percentage is in terms of what are you doing with this team? Are you about winning first? And I'm going to take a guess that 20 out of the 30 teams say, if they're being honest, are going to say no. And then at that point, they're just trying to run the rules the way it's supposed to. Signing up to 90% of the cap and collecting their TV money and all that crap.
Wanted to ask you this, my friend, with Luca asking if we stay objective, the Lakers have shown no signs or attention to play AD at the 4. We have dozens of 4s in his opinion. Again, when Joe speaks about that, or I speak about moving AD for the 4, it's things that we see as far as the long-term benefits of AD playing the 4 instead of playing the 5 constantly. You're right, Luca. They've made no inference. Obviously, since they're not looking to sign a big, or at least as far as we know, that's probably a very telling sign they're comfortable with AD at the 5, which would concern me greatly because they've not recollected their own injury history with Anthony Davis, Joe.
Yes, correct. If you're going to be stubborn and say that we need him at the 5, you're going to see the results of 2021, 2022, in 2023. What happened in all 3 seasons? AD out for the year after Game 3 or Game 4 of the Phoenix series. 2022, pretty much missed what 30 games, didn't make the playoffs. 2023 ran out of gas towards the end. What happened in 2020? And I know there's an argument that there was a break, blah, blah, blah. But the Lakers were playing very well going into March. They were getting a whole different stride in March of 2020 before COVID hit. And I don't
Great point, Adam. Great point. He
I,
needed larger help than Rui Hashimura with help on Jokic.
no one could stop Jokic. The issue with the Lakers is LeBron couldn't get to the basket for 4 quarters. He did it 1 quarter, he did it maybe 2 quarters. And then towards the end, everybody ran out of gas because number one, no one made any shots and LeBron couldn't get to the basket. And then, of course, Jamal Murray kept making every shot that mattered. And the Denver Nuggets in general kept making every outside shot. You guys saw it. I mean, Michael Porter Jr., if he was open, he made every shot. What were we doing? We were clanking them. Shot-making league, folks. Shot-making league. Because there were times where the Lakers somewhat contained Jokic. But the thing is, the other guys came through. And that's what happens when you're on a championship team. Championship teams have other people do stuff. Just like the Lakers back in the day with Robert Horry, Rick Fox, Derek Fisher, Horace Grant. Doesn't matter what it is. Trevor Ariza, Paul Gasol, Ron Artest. It's not just Kobe and Shaq and Jokic and Jamal Murray. It's the other guys too. It's a 12 to 15 man team, and you have 5 guys on the court playing. So we have to be careful not being prisoners in the moment, guys. We really, really have to focus on that. The Lakers' job right now is to continue the continuity that they have. They're bringing in the right pieces to continue to make sure that they have the right mentality coming into next season, because you need guys that understand chemistry. Why did they get Gabe Vincent? I'll tell you really why they did. They know he's a team player. They know that Pat Riley loved them. If Pat Riley loves you and Eric Spoelstra loves you, you know that guy is going to be a good player, especially a good role player. Those things matter. You saw the difference between Gabe Vincent and Kendrick Nunn when it comes to which one was available. The only reason why I believe the Miami Heat did not pick up Gabe Vincent is because I think they're going to go after Damian Lillard. And
Really?
that's their focus. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it happen, but I believe they have to figure out a way to make it happen if they are to win a championship, because they can still run it back and keep getting the guys from outside the house and guys that are playing in the G leagues and all that, but they might be able to get away with that stuff in the East. But you're not going to get to the finals and win jack squad if you have the same mindset and the same players. You're going to need another star. You're going to need another star next to Jimmy Butler.
Good, because it looks like the power shift has taken an even stronger hold in the West, with Phoenix, with what's been going down with Sacramento, Dallas, all making maneuvers, the Lakers all making maneuvers to try and improve the team and fight off whatever Denver's going to dish out. You haven't seen that much of a power shift, other than possibly Boston taking even more control with the Porzingis trade. And then you see what could happen in Milwaukee. They did resign Middleton, but there's a very good chance they could lose Lopez.
Yes, if they lose Lopez, it's a pretty big hit, but is it really? Where was Lopez in the first round?
Good point.
We don't pay attention to the games a lot. Well, I
but
do.
Giannis did get hurt. What, 2 games in?
He did, and then Budenholzer's stubbornness, which this is a normal thing in the coaching world.
Grayson Allen.
Not putting Giannis on Jimmy Butler was just not a smart move. You don't save something to hope that they have more later. You need to solve the problem now. And if if you don't do that in time, you're going to find yourself losing the way they did. That was one of the bigger choke jobs, and I don't like to use the word choke, but you cannot call anything when it comes to a 1 seed losing to an 8 seed anything other than a choke, especially with the way the Milwaukee Bucks played all year. They played like a 1 seed all year, and you can't lose to Miami. A Miami team that lost its first play-in game. On top of that, can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it, and I think we overvalue a lot of these guys in terms of the winning side. I think Brook Lopez had a great year. And I know the market's going to be, I think the market's going to tell us that he's a $20 million a year player for at least a couple more years. I think his agent's probably trying to find a 3-year type deal, maybe. But I don't think anybody's going to give him anything. I don't think anybody's going to give him more than a 2-year. And if he wants the money he wants, he might have to take a 1 year and a team option. And that's likely where that's going to go. So, Callie Dre, you're from San Diego, I'm assuming, right? Is that why it's 619? I still have my number, by the way. I lived in San Diego from 1996 to 2009.
And where did you graduate from, Joe?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked.
Still has it there from our Lakers History 101 graduation the other day.
Yes.
And congratulations.
This is what an alumnus looks like, guys.
Yes. Okay. San Diego State University.
Okay. Even though technically you're an alumnus if you haven't graduated, but if you don't have this at your college, you're not really an alumni. Come on.
All right.
You were going to pass by and then quit. Yeah, I said it.
Well, congratulations again to our class of 30, our first class of 2023. If you want to see who it was, go ahead and check out the previous episodes of the Lakers Fast Break, including Lakers History 101 earlier this week. But it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro from LakersBall.com and SimBlades.com and me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. You got so many people out there still asking about, Adam says, I root for San Diego State. He also says that as a T-Wolves fan, he likes the Shake Milton pickup. Yeah, I think that was pretty solid. Again, this is a team that's trying to get out of the disappointment that they have after the Gobert trade and that debacle. Hopefully they're trying to do what they can to salvage something, because you only will have so many years left of Anthony Edwards before he wants to go ahead and bail if it continues. Oscar says, according to Sport Track, Lakers have $37 million in luxury tax space. No more BAE or TMLE. With Reeves and D'Lo expected to re-sign, what big can the Lakers afford? Might as well bring back Wenyen and Mo. Wenyen I would not take. If you can't give me back Wenyen. I'm sorry. That's something, as everybody knows on this show. It's Wenyen's a really hard deal for me. I root for his story. Being cut by 6 teams gives you energy, but you saw in the playoffs how little he can give you. With Mo, it's just the fact that Bamba has just no basketball awareness, and you see that even in the short flashes of the game. But I would probably take Mo over Wenyen just because of the size and the fact that he can shoot. So I could probably say of the two, I would probably say Mo at the minimum would be okay. But with whatever the Lakers can squeeze out left, I'm hoping that Christian Wood is still a possibility. Why do you think Christian Wood has not signed as of yet with a team for more?
Probably waiting to see what Brook Lopez gets. Mm-hmm. A lot of these guys are going to wait out the market and see what their options are, who's going to need their services, and who's going to be desperate enough to pay them more than what they probably should get. That's kind of my thought on that. I heard that the Clippers are thinking of trading Zubac. Did you hear that as well?
But where would he go to? If he goes for the Lakers, comes back to the Lakers for
I think they're trying to figure out a way to clear some more money out so that they can go get Harden.
Okay, if that's great and all, but who would they have for center? Because Plumlee is also out on the.
I'm hearing that Plumlee would be the starting center.
Okay, you bring him back. Plumlee's your starting center. Okay, I think that's a serious downgrade. I know he does play well as far as in the passing game, but he's just not as steady to me as Zubac. Zubac is someone that I think gave you more size in the interior. Plus, he could challenge. He does get beat by the Jokic's of the world, but he does I think he's very competitive against those guys and does not back down. I would probably, take, Zubats back in a heartbeat if you find the right trade for him. But I don't think the Lakers would ever trade with the Clippers after the last Zubats trade that they did with Muscala.
Uh, yeah, I don't know necessarily if that was the Clippers' fault. I think that was Magic Johnson's fault.
Yeah.
His infatuation with body percentage fat was a culprit of why he let Brooke Lopez go and traded Zubac for a bag of used M&M wrappers. I don't, I don't, I don't, and that it's mind boggling to me that you have the geniuses of their league doing such moronic trades based off of stupid things. I never kind of understood that. I understand that if you're a coach and let's say you're a great player that became a coach, and you're not able to communicate with the player that isn't getting it right, because you're Magic Johnson, you're Michael Jordan, you were players, right? You were players, and you're like wondering why these players like you aren't understanding how to play a certain way. That makes sense. But when you're an executive, you have to understand the team concept and what works. How do you not understand that either? Why was Jerry West one of the few ex great players that understood that? Oh, I know why. Because he's in the gyms. He's got his hand in the work. He's in the high school gym. The great Jerry West, the logo is going to high schools. He's going to colleges. He's sitting there in the most boring times of the year, figuring out this and that, and then personalities and skill sets and chemistry guys and all that. That's what you have to do. Not sitting around and wondering and being excited about training Ben Simmons, who's not even on your team, and not realizing that's tampering. And then you had Michael Jordan own the Charlotte Bobcats, and he's drafting Adam Morrison third. What the hell are you doing? Why are you watching ESPN and listening to these guys? That's what he did with Lonzo Mourning. I'm sorry, Lonzo Ball, instead of getting Jason Tatum. That's what he was doing with letting Brooke Lopez go. That's what he was doing when he traded Zubac. So all this stuff, all these bad things that have happened have come from guys that don't do the work. Yes, you think that they do work because they say they do and they're successful. But I've been around a lot of business guys that are successful. You'd laugh at how they do their work. You'd actually laugh. But because they make the money, it's okay.
Well, would tell you though, at this point in time, the money is still out there, but it is getting limited. Just wanted to let you know where we're here back at the Lakers Fast Break. Bobby Marks tweeted out there, speaking of ESPN, the teams left with significant cap room. San Antonio still has 29. Houston has 25. Sacramento has 18. And there's still D'Angelo Russell, Russell Westbrook, Io DeSunmu, Patrick Beverly, Austin Reeves, Max Strus, Dante DiVincenzo, Eric Gordon, Miles Bridges, Dylan Brooks, and Matisse Thybulle, among others, as far as individuals still out there looking for a contract. I'm glad he didn't put Christian Wood because I really want to keep him under the radar. So hopefully the Lakers will go ahead and be able to get him on the cheap. Your thoughts on any of those players? Obviously, Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell still stand out for us, but is there anyone out there you're going like, I can't believe he's not signed yet?
I'm thinking Brooke Lopez. I thought he'd sign already,
Mhm.
especially after Vucevic's overpay. I thought, oh, okay, he's just set the market. I can at least get 18 million. And then if age is the issue, I can get 18 for the next 3 years, let's say, maybe 2 years and a team option. I think the reason why it is taking a while because I think Brooke might be giving Milwaukee a chance to sign him back. Otherwise, he would have just left for Houston.
Sounds
So,
like it.
so I think Brooke might be waiting for Milwaukee to give him a deal and running it back with Middleton and Giannis and the crew. And trying to make up for the massive dud that they had here in this year's playoffs.
Intel Wild. So funny. You and Raphael going back and forth. Vincent's asking, I'm still high on Mamba. He never really got the chance to prove himself. He only had a couple flashes with the Lakers, but what we saw was just not there. He was, of course, a high lottery pick. I just think that, again, he just does not have the defensive awareness for someone his size and ability. He would be great if it all connected, but I'm not sure. Again, if you bring him back on the minimum, if he comes back on the minimum, I think that's something that, okay, absolutely, that's something we could be interested in as a backup center, but that doesn't really help us up front as far as someone playing significant minutes up front with AD, right, Joe?
Correct. Well, Bamba had a chance to showcase some skills. We were hoping that he could spread the floor and make threes, and then just at least be a deterrent on defense. But he flamed out not only in play but also not being able to play with a bum ankle.
Even by the time he got back healthy, they still didn't want to put him in the lineup.
No, it takes it's been the motor. We knew the best source of information on a player that you get or are about to get is to whatever team he's on. If he's coming from a different team, you want to go and scour the internet for whatever fan base information that you can get, a message board or a Reddit or any of the real GM kind of places where they have forums where people are talking about their teams. No one's going to know the day-to-day of their teams more than those message boards. And the ones that I viewed for Orlando when he was still there were all just, this guy sucks. And you got him for someone who equally or if worse sucked. What exactly were you getting? You know what I mean? Was it the change in scenery? I'm not a fan of the change in scenery. A player, a talented player, yes, there have been instances where change in scenery helped. But I don't know necessarily if that's Rui. Something clicked with Rui after the DNP, and what happened was it clicked to the point where he asked LeBron, "What do I need to do?" And then LeBron paved the way, and then Rui changed for the better. And sometimes that happens. I don't know necessarily if that's a change in scenery. I think it's just maybe maturity. Maybe it's the fact that he was going into his last season of his contract, wanted to make sure he made a good impression, and apparently he did. If he doesn't play as well as he did, he's a $8 million player. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong.
Let's say he shot 30% from three during that run. He's an $8 million player. He's not an $18 million player.
Derek wants to know how much of Bryant and Bamba failing in LA was having a head coach that wanted to play predominant 3 or 4 guard lineups. I'm not going to tell you wrong. We hated him playing so many 3 guard lineups. Seemed infatuated with at times. And I know that there were times we were calling for more size. There could be a chance that there's something had to do with it as far as, especially on Bryant's end, especially when with the fact that, everybody got healthy, AD came back, and Bryant seemed to be, his starting spot was taken away from him, and he really wanted to go ahead and once he had the taste of once again of playing some significant minutes, he wanted to go ahead and juice that up again.
A subscriber.
Thank you, Vincent, for subscribing. Your thoughts, though, on how much of an influence it might have made as far as those small lineups that you, I, and Zangerstein absolutely detested every single time he did it.
I think there is an analytical reason for those lineups. It's got a Dave Roberts feel to it, an Andrew Friedman feel to it, where they're looking at statistics and saying, this is what we need to play at this moment. That's where I think that resonates from. And then compound that with the fact that you have bigs that aren't productive.
Yay,
there's no busting of that those numbers or those analytics. Uh, the Lakers are going to have to get lucky in getting a legitimate center. When I say legitimate, someone who is serviceable at the very least. We didn't have one serviceable center last year, not one.
I want to
So
thank so much. I'm here to save you all. And also, as well, Stephen, for subscribing as well. But yes, Joe, I can please continue.
yeah, it's a tough one for me to swallow right now. I'm really crossing my fingers that they have a solution there. I think it's probably why my mind is kind of going
Yay! A
towards this.
subscriber!
Maybe there's a package for D'Angelo Russell, because a little bit of me says, can we get another guard, maybe not as good as him, but then also get a big? That's kind of where I'm at on that. I don't know if it's possible, but I'm hoping it is.
Thank you very much, Derek, for subscribing. And we have now hit over 750. And I made a promise to Joe. I said if we would go ahead and get over 750 subscribers on YouTube, I would change it to his much beloved logo, which I'm going to do right now. But as I do so, and I'm going to change it here in
It's
just a
not my
second.
logo, it's our logo.
Our logo. Okay. All right. But I want to go ahead and make sure everybody knows. Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. Thanks so much for watching, listening. It is our wrap up of day one of NBA free agency. Are you concerned at all, Joe, about Austin Reeves and or D'Angelo Russell being signed away without anything to show for the Lakers?
No, I'm not. They'll have a formidable team. It's just we're gonna have to hope uh,
Which
that
I know you love so well.
yeah, we're gonna have to hope that whatever center they bring in is a surprise and productive.
Okay. There it is, my friend. LFB.
Yay! A subscriber!
Bullets, thank you so much again for subscribing. Truly appreciate it. You've got the logo now changed, my friend. I'll have it changed everywhere I can as soon as I can. But now that we're over 750 subscribers, it is truly appreciated. Again, when it comes to Austin, I really think that there's no doubt that the Lakers are going to do everything in their efforts to sign him. D'Angelo, I think it now is coming to the point we need to sign him. If you keep him on the team, he's going to stay a significant part of your regular season. If you don't keep him and trade him, you utilize that on getting more depth, especially up front for the Lakers, and possibly another backup point guard as well.
Yeah, I don't. It just, even if the Spurs dropped 100 or 99 and or 102, whatever it is now with the new CBA, 104, the Lakers are matching that. The only one that's wavering a little bit is maybe D'Angelo Russell, but that would take a team dropping 25-30 million per for him.
Vincent, I will say though, that's a great question. Are we new on YouTube? Actually, I've been doing this since 2019, mainly on Facebook for the first couple years, but during the pandemic, I did shift over a little bit more and a little bit more to YouTube. We've been going hardcore on YouTube for now about a year and a half, I think. That's when Joe came on. Joe came on from the scene from LakersBall.com because I reached out to every available Lakers community that I could get in touch with and was able to go ahead and get people to come on the show. We've got Laker Tom coming on here from time to time from Lakerholics.com. We got Stone Hansen for the Upside Swings NBA Draft Podcast. We've got John McCallion from his own channel. We've got so many. Laker Nick was on. All these great voices. Jamie Sweet. All these great voices. It just is so incredible to have them here as far as part of this. And I'm so glad we've been here for a while and we're here after every game. We're here doing at least 4 shows a week, right, Joe? We're looking to try and do, again, maybe 3 to 5 at least. Even through the off season, we're going to keep running it at you, right, Joe?
So what's likely happening right now, folks, is the algorithm is starting to disperse. I noticed that today. Today was activity I'd never seen before. And I believe a lot of it is the fact that we've continued the battle of attrition in making sure that there is enough content going out there. We're here. Now, not all of us are here. Well, Gerald and I are here all the time because that's the point. Sinatra used to say 90% of it is being there. And what he meant by that was Sinatra was a performer. And Sinatra said, if you just get there, you're going to perform. It's like going to the gym. When have you gone to the gym and not worked out, right? The hardest part is getting to the gym, right? Same thing here. Well, it's not hard, but it's hard for some people, right? They have lives, they have families, they have kids. If you want to hear the mean Joe versus the nice Joe in this discussion.
Vincent, you've not heard the rants yet.
So here's
Joe
now.
rant
I'm
is
probably
just unbelievable.
gonna get a lot of my guys mad here, but I'm gonna say it anyways because I can do this. I'm a family man myself. I have children as well. I have a job. Matter of fact, I have like 3 jobs. I'm still here. I'm still here every day. I could be here every day. So the last cliche line, that's not really a cliche line, it's a line. A good excuse.
Okay.
A good excuse.
Because I got
is
a rant.
still an excuse. So why is this all of a sudden now getting out there? It's getting out there because Gerald and I have put our heads down and said the only way this thing gets to where we want it, we have to be here every day somehow. And now it's starting to get out there. And it's going to get more vicious too, by the way. I mean, I've been vicious on this show for a year, but it's going to get worse. The bigger audience that we get, the more vicious this is going to be. Why? Because then I know that the right ears are going to hear it.
And I will say right now, thank you, Ronnie, for taking the time out of your day to watch us right here. I know you are a Dallas fan, and I know Joe is reading the comments, which I'm going to read aloud for our audio audience because this also goes on podcasts. If you're driving to work, if you're driving anywhere, if you're going anywhere and you want to listen to audio podcasts, the Lakers Fast Break is available wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, what have you. We're always here for you. But I wanted to mention for those listening on audio, something that Ronnie Agramante is saying, a Dallas fan. Again, we have Utah fans. We have other fans that are here as well. They obviously create a lot of stuff as far as just good dialogue, which was always what we recommend here at the Lakers Fast Break and truly appreciate, even from other fans of other teams. He says, if Dallas gets defenders, we're literally the best team, Ox 1947. So I don't know what you're talking about. You sound like a casual who's mad that LeBron is going to leave you all next year to play with Bronny.
Yeah, and if I bleached my hair would be blonde. What does that even mean? if they had defenders, where are they going to get defenders from? How are they going to pay for the defenders? Where are they going to get them? Brook Lopez, Christian Wood, didn't they already have him? Don't they not like him? If, what, when, it doesn't matter. Kyrie Irving has shown a pattern that wherever he's gone, except for a small stint with Cleveland, that he can't win. Would he win? He would win in LA with this current team. Sure. If you replaced D'Angelo Russell for Kyrie Irving, from a basketball standpoint, sure. But at what point will Kyrie Irving sabotage the focus, the chemistry, and all those things? And what is Kyrie Irving going to do to keep Luka from eating too much? That's the stuff a Dallas Maverick fan needs to learn. Also, you also need to understand, what is Mark Cuban doing on a day-to-day culture basis in Dallas that's going to keep people wanting to play there? Jalen Brunson left Dallas like he was on fire. Why? Why did these good players keep wanting to leave? Why are there rumors already that Luka might be leaving? Is Mark Cuban taking, did he make half the office over there Shark Tank and the other half something else? Like, guys, you can sit there and fantasize all you want, but the results don't add up. Dallas, if they get this, if they get that, if my aunt had a, she'd be my uncle. Enough with the ifs, okay? The Lakers right now have a better if game than the Dallas Mavericks. If the Lakers get a decent center, they are going to be a problem barring injury. You have to use the word barring injury in this league now because of all the pansies that play in it. So now what? Now what's the argument?
Thing is, though, you've committed out there, Ronnie, and I'm not going to, we're not going to call your team trash. I'm not going to, like you're calling out Lakers. I would ask you to be more respectful, please. In the chat, that's all we ask is just to be respectful. We'll be respectful back. But the thing I ask you is with his history of the amount of games average he plays a year, Ronnie, aren't you at least a little bit concerned?
58 games, by the way.
58 games is his average. And that's because his average went up this year because he played more games this year. His average normally is around 50 to 52. So he's playing a little bit more for you, which is a good thing, but it's still an average of 58 games. And also the fact that you've now given him $126 million to play with. What are the odds he's going to be able to be on the straight and narrow, let's just say, as far as his conduct, both on and off the court, to go ahead and collect on that full $126 million?
Well, if Kyrie was the GOAT, Ronnie, I can't tell if you're trolling us or just messing with us. Which, if you're messing with us, it's a good one. I'll give you that. But GOATs in their prime, which he is, don't get non-max contracts. Let's be real. He got a 3-year contract. If it was anybody else but Kyrie,
could have gotten a 5
with a 50, 90, 40 stat line all the time, with ball handling like his.
Could have gotten a 5.
You're talking about Desmond Bain getting 207, Halliburton getting 260, 5. Guys that can't even wear shoes are getting that money. Why? Because they're not malcontents. They're not detriments to winning. So don't tell me your team if and what and when it's producing nothing. Get back to me when they win a championship. Then I'll believe you.
Ronnie agrees with you. He was just trolling you. It is Michael Jordan. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. I would not disagree with you on that, Ronnie. As much as we love Kobe here, as much as we love LeBron here, I'm going to agree with you on Michael Jordan. I've never seen a player better or a defense that is structured, so focused on beating one human being than teams were for the Jordan rules and Michael Jordan. So, and he's not, by the way, he's not even a Maverick fan, he says. So, well, Ronnie, you've got us on that one. So you've bested us, and I hope you enjoy that. But it's good to have you here. We love the banter back and forth. As long as it's healthy, as long as it's constructive, and as long as it keeps people entertained, we want to go ahead and do that because we not only like to inform you here, as Joe says, but we also like to give you entertainment from time to time as well. Correct, Joe?
Yeah, we're in entertainment. We're in the entertainment business. I wouldn't be here unless our audience said, we want to hear what you say. I'm not in this game to listen to myself talk. As much as I do talk on this thing, I actually don't talk during the day unless I'm selling the business. That's it. I've gone mornings where I don't say a word for hours, and it's probably the best time of the day for me. I don't like talking. There's a purpose here to talk. I can't just sit here and not talk. There's a job here to do, and most of it is to analyze, interpret, and deliver information so that you guys don't have to go do that. That's our job. That's why you subscribe, so that you don't have to deal with going and looking at all these things. I have that kind of life. If I have any downtime, I'm looking at my message boards. I'm on LakersBall.com. I'm looking at other forums that will give me some kind of information that I can use for the show, and obviously give me knowledge on what's going on with my teams and everything around the NBA. The Lakers are a big part of my life. They've been a big part of my life for 32 years, and it's gotten bigger and bigger as I've gotten older. You would think that after you become an adult, you'd probably not take this as seriously, right? Now, when I say taking it seriously, as in so invested in it, but the reason why I'm invested in it is because it's fun. But I do have a separation. Like, I'm not crying in the corner when they lose, or my life isn't dead because they lose. No. I can balance the highs and lows, and they've given me enough highs to be thankful, anyways. Even if the rest of the time I'm on this earth is a loss.
With Serge Ibaka again, his back, which is I think he might be done because his back has just been such the last half of his career. He could have been so much more productive, but his back issues have probably led to the downfall of his career. Whiteside, I think he's burned so many bridges. I think he was with Utah last, and I just don't think that teams like for instance DeMarcus Cousins, which you talked about earlier. Nobody seems to be, and Willie Cauley-Stein. Nobody wants to be are interested in these guys, and they haven't been for over 2 seasons. There's probably a reason why that these guys have not been able to sustain a late ending career in the NBA. But I know, Ronnie, you're like many people that wanted Kyrie to come to the Lakers. It didn't happen because he wanted his money, and I can't say I blame him for wanting the money. And he's congratulations to him. He didn't get the 5 year I'm sure he was looking for, but he did get 3 for 126. So obviously some great money for him. Joe says, don't be surprised if Kyrie comes to LA at a trade by the deadline. We'll see. But my friend, there's been some great questions. I wanted to go ahead and hit you one up. Ernesto says, what about a Russell for Harden sign and trade? The logistics on the money would probably not happen because you would have to sign D'Angelo for what, 35 million, I think, and change in order to match the salary of Harden, who did opt into the final year of his contract. And I don't think any team would want D'Angelo on a $35 million contract because he's looking for multiple years.
I don't think the Lakers want James Harden either. James Harden has deteriorated physically in the last couple of years.
20 points and 10 assists last year, though. I'm going to give him that.
Yeah, but you have to look at game 6 and 7 against Boston. That's the James Harden you get when it matters. James Harden is not a money player. He's never been a money player. He was showing signs of it in that series, but he came up lame when it really mattered, like he always does. He just doesn't have the focus to get you over the hump. And there's no better place for him to go than the LA Clippers so that he can continue to be around people that are continuously unavailable when it matters.
Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate being here for our free agent wrap up. Some great conversations out there with you in the best Lakers chat room that's out there. It's Lakers Fast Break. Really good crowd late tonight. I cannot thank you enough for staying up with us. It's truly appreciated. Ronnie says Dallas is smart because he got matched up with Luka, years left on his contract. He's got a player option in the 3rd year. We'll see what happens when at the end of that contract, though. Again, it was kind of iffy for him for a little while, and if he was going to get a nice contract, but it looks like congratulations to him on that. Dallas, though, if you could find some defenders, like you said, that's the problem, finding some defenders. Derek Lively is going to have to get really good really quick because I know he was someone that we were targeting with the Lakers pick at 17. That could be a good defender for you with maybe some upside, and maybe he can shoot from range, which he never could do in Dallas. But our good friend Rafael Barlow, and also as well, Stone Hansen, both did say, especially Rafael, about how enamored he was with the stroke that he showed off in workouts. So that could be a possibility for you guys, but there still needs more than that as far as defenders on Dallas is concerned, I think, to go a long way. But don't worry, says I'm drunk and about to smoke a giant bag of weed. More power to you. Hope you enjoy it thoroughly, and I'm glad you're in your home enjoying it as well, not out on the roadways out there. Ronnie says, and also if we trade Tim Hardaway Jr., we get him $18 million. That's his name has been all over the trade machine, so I could see him being moved at some point sooner rather than later. So I do see that, Ronnie. But when it comes to what the Lakers can still do, I think a lot of what the Lakers can still get outside of Austin Reeves is totally dependent on what they signed and if they signed D'Angelo Russell, Joe.
Yeah, all things point to the Lakers bringing D'Angelo back, signing Reeves back, and then getting minimum contracts for their bigs and running that team for 2024.
I'm
And
going to be positive here, Preach. I'm going to say that they're still in the running for Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes.
Jackson Hayes, I would say. Christian Wood, I think, is going to get a contract that's going to be comparable, at
Yeah.
least for him. And then he'll make them mad wherever he goes, and then maybe we might have a shot at him next year. But I would be ready for the trade deadline next year. I'd be ready for a player that needs to get bounced out of wherever they are, and the Lakers maybe being in a position where they're playing well enough but not good enough to be a favorite to win the title, and then maybe that one trade would be that player that takes them over the hump. That could be a possibility, or we could get lucky and just come out and we're 38-20 at the All-Star break, and the Lakers decide, look, we're rolling here, we're doing well, we're going to win 55 games, go into the playoffs. LeBron hasn't been playing more than 29 to 30 minutes a game, and AD's going to end up playing 70 games this year, winning the Defensive Player of the Year and being a top 5 MVP candidate, and then we can just go with what we have. Ideally, that would be the easiest way, because then there's less thinking and there's less headache of what we're going to do here and there. Everyone knows they're going to be on the team. Everyone can feel secure that they're a big part of what's going on. That would ideally be better if I had a choice. But I'm going to feel better if the Lakers can get a legitimate big man on this team or two so that things can even out. But we're going to have to wait for that.
Oscar was talking about Dwight Powell, Paul Reed, and Bismack Biyombo still out there as far as minimum centers. Dwight Powell probably would be the most attractive of the three. Your thoughts on any of those? Paul Reed is a great hustler, but he's a little undersized. And of course, Bismack Biyombo, again, shot blocker, deluxe, but man, he's at 30 or 40% on free throws. That's something where he's going to be very limited on the number of minutes he can play.
No, you can't bring in any player that's going to be shooting that bad from the free throw line. Not in a league where I really believe that the reason why the Lakers won in Memphis and in Golden State against Golden State was because of free throws. LeBron was just phenomenal, and AD was phenomenal. Those guys were not making free throws during the regular season. I don't know what the hell changed, but it completely changed those series. LeBron especially. I don't think I ever saw LeBron shoot that well from the free throw line the last 3 months. That was his best free throw shooting I've ever seen. And it played a big part in winning those series. It really did. There was a game where they didn't miss a free throw. Can't remember which Memphis game was it. Was it game 3? Was it game 3? I think it was game 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tristan Thompson questions are still out there, my friend. Oh my gosh.
Well,
Tristan Kardashian Thompson, as Joe would really gets mad when I say that. So, yes. I will say though that a Grizzlies fan, Grizzlies did some good moves. Picking up Derrick Rose, as a backup point guard could be something very good. Although 25 games in, once Ja comes back, he's just going to be a guy that's on the bench, obviously helping these young guys out. Preach says, I don't like Bismack Biyombo. It's just a free throw shooting. It's just atrocious. And that's always going to be a hindrance for the rest of his career. Ronnie says Austin Reeves can get more money than the Lakers, though. The Spurs can offer him 120 for 40 years, but then the Lakers can still match. The Lakers could only offer him a tender him offer of 4 years. Was it 53, 54? But if the Spurs sign him to an offer sheet, Joe, of 120 million for 4 years, the Lakers could potentially match that.
Can they offer 120?
Well, let's say no. Actually, I'm not 120 because
No, I don't think it goes beyond 102. I believe
102. Okay,
but I'm saying that because I think the new collective bargaining agreement says it. But all early reports, but this is before it became official. Early reports was 99 for 4 as the max. You have to understand, guys, the Lakers don't have to pay, or I should say any team does not have to pay him evenly for 4 years. The first 2 years in that contract is going to be 11 and change and 12 and change. So the Lakers are set up perfect for that poison pill, because when he gets his balloon payment in year 3, that's when LeBron comes off the books. And if Austin Reeves stays consistent, that's going to be a good contract for Austin. Good for, I should say, a good contract for the Lakers. They're going to have a going into his prime player that's making that kind of money.
Vincent, if you tell everybody out there in the Philippines where Luca and Zangerstein and so many other of our valuable listeners and our audience is at right now, if you tell everybody in the Philippines about us here at the Lakers Fast Break, salamat from all of us here at the Lakers Fast Break. For someone who has a wife that's Filipina, it was truly appreciated, and it would be truly welcomed if that's the case. So that'd be awesome if that's the case. If we were big in the Philippines, Joe. How about that? If we were big in the Philippines?
Well, it would make sense if we were big in the Philippines. The Philippines is a massive Laker contingency.
Yes.
They love the Lakers, and they loved the only country, I think, besides, I don't even think, I mean, people loved Kobe in America, LA for sure. Like Kobe could not, Kobe is the most popular person ever in LA. Now, I want you to imagine that for a second. Imagine that. How many stars have been in LA? Movie stars, athletes. The only one that obviously you could sit next to him is Magic Johnson. You could argue Magic and Kobe are a tie. I would. So imagine now that, and then you have a country like the Philippines who love Kobe and love the Lakers. You could argue that the Philippines is Kobe, China is Magic. Which one loves Kobe more? They voted a long time ago that Kobe was more popular than Yao Ming back when he was in his prime. Imagine that, Kobe Bryant more popular than Yao Ming, right?
Yep.
So Philippines, absolute. You can, when they say Laker country, literally they are Laker country.
So I'll ask you, my friend, we're going to go ahead and wind it down here, my friend. Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It's Gerald Glassford along with Joe Soro. Please check out Joe Soro today as Ox1947 in a great chat site that is LakersBall.com. That conversation continues all day, all year long at LakersBall.com. Also, as well, he runs a company. If you're in the Southern California area and you want your lawn transformed into something much more magical than it is today, it is Simblades, Simblades with a Y.com. I also host the Pop Culture Cosmos, which covers the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. And our good friend Stone Hansen from the Upside Swings NBA Draft Podcast, Jamie Sweet and Laker Tom from Lakerholics.com, and John McCallion from the John McCallion channel. We got a cast of characters. We didn't even talk about L Rob. I got to get L Rob back on the show so he could talk about all the great things that he's seen so far in free agency. Laker Nick was awesome earlier today. We have so many great guys that are on this show.
Well, that's I'm assuming is what's starting to bring the audience to the show is you have different personalities, different perspectives, and more importantly, we have knowledgeable in their own little niche. They have their own knowledge of their little niche in the NBA. So Stone Hansen is the draft guru. Stone Hansen knows more about high school players than their parents. And then you have Laker Tom, who's been around since Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, when they were playing for the Lakers. So there's a lot of history there. You have Gerald, who's been the podfather for 13, 14 years now?
I didn't even mention Henry, who runs it does for at times help me run Courtside Lakers, which has over 5,000 followers on Instagram.
It's a battle of attrition, folks. Eventually you build a network. Eventually you build a team, just like an NBA championship team. The team is here. We're building the team, and we have different parts. And sometimes some of those parts leave for free agency. Some of them retire. Some retire and maybe come back. You have almost the same concept. And then you have the fans, those who are subscribed and liked, and they will view the team. and they will support the team, and then they will enhance the team. Why? Because fans bring out the pressure to perform. And when you have the audience, negative or positive, as long as you're not belligerent and stupid, and when I say belligerent and stupid, saying racist stuff just to get a rile on people or just throwing nonsense, I don't mind a little rubbing. You guys can throw some ball busting type comments. I welcome that. That's a good thing. But saying stupid things, saying things that don't pertain to anything logical, we're gonna bounce your ass faster than a basketball. But if you are here to get some entertainment, it's just we're gonna continue to get this thing's gonna continue to get better and better, and I can guarantee you that right now.
Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there being a part of what we're doing. We are looking to do shows with Laker Weekend this weekend. Just checking to see with the guys from the Lakerholics if they're available to do so. Laker Tom said he was, but haven't heard yet from Jamie. Otherwise, Joe and I will probably step in with maybe Laker Tom doing a show sometime Saturday to give you an update of what's going on with free agency. I'm not sure, but we may find out by then what's going on with Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, and the rest of the Lakers, how that's going to fit out. So we will be back for that. You can guarantee that. And if I can schedule ahead of time, so you know ahead of time, because if you're liked and you subscribed, you already will know when we go on live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break. We will do so. But we do have Lakers shows planned for you this weekend as well. Joe, any last thoughts, my friend, on the way out?
Yes, I'm waiting for which team is going to give Austin Reeves an offer sheet. If no one does, that might move the B to an A for the Lakers. Because now they're going to offer Reeves a 4-year, $52 million contract. Now that changes everything in terms of money. Things could change right there. I'm anxious to see if that happens.
I am as well. And if it does happen, we will go live on the air, rest assured, because we at the Lakers Fast Break are going to keep you clued in on what's going on with free agency. To everybody out there listening, thanks so much again for listening to us for all the wrap up and all the stuff that's going on. I'm going to post everything I can as much of the almost 6 hours of coverage today on NBA free agency. And if you've been hanging out with us through our record numbers earlier today, even on these great numbers tonight, late at night, it is truly and immensely appreciated, whether you're on Facebook, Twitch, Kick, Twitter, wherever, Instagram, checking us out there, or right here on YouTube. It is immensely appreciated. Intel, you've been so amazing. I'm glad you came into our lives as far as being able to go ahead and be a major part of what we do. Raphael, as always, just great to have you here. Congratulations on your degree to Lakers Fast Break University, getting your degree in Lakers studies as well. I'm glad you got a chance to listen to that and made sure to let you know that you were put in as the final 5 members, the 30 members, the 30 individuals given honorary degrees right here at Lakers Fast Break University. So it is truly appreciated. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break.
A
Joe,
subscriber.
just great to have you here, my friend. Tien, on the way out, just thank you so much for subscribing. We also had other subscribers. Mr. Skinny, I believe, also as well. Thank you so much for subscribing. We had more subscribers than I could actually count or see. Our best day ever. Joe, I mean, it's almost like you don't want to let it end, man. I don't know how much better it can get for us.
Well, you wanna give the audience enough to where they want more later. You don't want to oversaturate this. I used to love that about a show called Entourage. I don't know if you guys know that show. It was on HBO between '04 and 2012, I believe. And one of the things that was great about the show is it was only a 30-minute show. Well, technically it was 23 minutes. And every time the show ended, I was like, I gotta wait till next week. You wanna create that a little bit. You want to create a tease for the next shows and the next shows and the next shows. You don't want to wear your stuff out. However, today, when it comes to free agency or the trade deadline, or even let's say a title win, I think being on being on is warranted because it's a special occasion. The 4 hours that we did today went by quick because we're talking, we're seeing activity. Uh, I think it was. I think I could have stayed on longer, but I did sense that.
You wanted
Yeah,
to go to the pool, man.
I
Come
did
on.
want to go to the pool, but I could still bring my equipment to the pool
Well, I'll tell you what. We get to 1,000 subscribers. You don't have to do it from a Wild Wings, the Buffalo Wild Wings, like you have done before. You could check that out in the archives here on YouTube. When Joe honed up to the bet, he's actually had what the hottest chip that's out there. Correct, the one chip challenge. You've done the one chip challenge on the air, and you've also done the Buffalo Wild Wings challenge here on the air to pay off bets. Is that correct?
Yes, the one chip challenge was not really bad for me, but I didn't do one of those where I sat there like a jackass
You
for
were drinking
15
the shake the
minutes.
whole time
I
from
drank the
Sonic.
shake right after. I was like, look, I'm not going to be that guy where I'm just sitting there in pain. However, you can't really fake the pain or maneuver through the pain of the Blazing Challenge at Buffalo Wild Wings. The Blazing Challenge, the wings at Buffalo Wild Wings, the sauce, which by the way is freaking delicious. It's just hot as hell. I ate those wings, and you'll see a snot bubble. So I couldn't fake that one, guys. I was my nose was draining like a faucet, and I got a snot bubble to prove that sucker was hot as hell. But I got through it, and I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that when you're talking and you got your mind off of the pain, you're less likely to probably be affected as much by it. At least I did. And it was a fun challenge. I thought Buffalo Wild Wings represented themselves extremely well that morning. They gave me a hot fudge sundae, which, by the way, was the greatest ice cream I ever ate, too. It was just amazing. Had a good time doing it. I really did. And I'm glad I was able to do it and make everybody happy. And it's in the archives forever, so you can watch it anytime.
Yep, it's right there on YouTube. Raphael, as he said, he saw it live. Intel says, tried to bomb Joe. Maybe you'll have to one day, but for 1,000 subscribers, my friend, you got to do the show from the pool.
Yes. So we are, and if we manage to have a day like today, a few more times this summer, looking like we're going to probably get 1,000 subscribers before the end of the summer, which was my goal this summer. Should that happen, I will be broadcasting from my jacuzzi in my backyard. And
if we get the thousands, just like all those other girls on Twitch.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with that. Yes, you will. You will see me relaxing in a spa, celebrating our 1,000th subscriber. Because if you think that stuff got unlocked today, wait till you get to 1,000. That's when things are really gonna start moving.
Speaking of which, Anthony is a new subscriber. Thanks so much for doing so. Turbo has a great question before we head on out. What's up, fellas on the panel? You guys think the Lakers got better today? Is that enough to go up against the Nuggets or not enough yet? I'd still like to get some more beef up front and maybe solidify and just figure out what they're going to do for point guard A and point guard B. Once they get that cleared up, I think they do. They match up favorably against the Nuggets.
The Nuggets got weaker today without Bruce Brown. I also think that they're going to enjoy their championship and have a letdown because Jokic has that personality. He has the personality.
And everybody was healthy virtually the entire year.
Yes, they had the good luck too. When you have health, that's one of the lucky things you can get. And
Lakers couldn't say that.
What was that?
I said the Lakers couldn't say that.
No, the Lakers haven't been able to do that. Why? Because they've been using their main guy out of position this whole time, right?
Yeah.
And LeBron was overworked. It's just that they didn't have a choice. They had to do what they had to do.
I think we got a little better today.
We got a little bit better, and it's going to come down to Darvin Ham devising a plan, devising an offense that caters to the depth and the system so that LeBron isn't needed as much during the regular season. That has to happen. And we need AD not playing free safety this year. We need him to play strong safety. We need him to be set up where he needs to be on defense with his guy, focused on his guy, and tailing here and there and helping out a little now and then. But it can't be 40 minutes of constant just going to wherever the dead spots are. You can't have that.
All right. Well, looks like the questions are out there of Adrian and Bobby Marks and whatnot. They were talking to each other. Do you ever sleep? Well, at least they didn't get laid off today with all the ESPN layoffs. Jeff Van Gundy among them, Jalen Rose among them, and several others. If you want to look in the news, that was kind of surprising for me on Van Gundy. I would have actually laid off Windhorse and
I
Jackson
wasn't
myself.
surprised. Van Gundy has deteriorated the last 5-6 years. His shtick is old. His yapping is old, and he's gonna go somewhere at some point.
Yeah,
But
he just won't get the mega millions that he was getting.
his stuff just got to the point where I just got tired of hearing his voice.
But I will tell you, my friend, it's been great having everyone here. Another, again, 2 hours almost here. Total 6 hours today. We'll be back at it tomorrow once we get more updates of what's going on. I'll try to schedule out a show tomorrow. May not be around noon. I may actually do it a little bit later in the day, and I'll let Tom know if that's the case. Unless Jamie and him come on for a Lakerholic Spotlight tomorrow, we'll let you know. But it will be a Lakers weekend. We will be back for more coming up here tomorrow. We're looking forward to it. Joe, great job today, my friend. Our best day ever. Looking forward to more great, awesome days like this, man. Looking forward to more awesome days like this down the road.
Absolutely, yes. This should be the norm soon, and then
I'm glad.
we're gonna keep building it. Just keep building it, guys. We're gonna entertain you guys, and we're gonna have some controversial topics too. Not because we're planning to create controversy. It could be triggered by a question. It could be triggered by a comment. You guys are gonna get a chance to know who we are, and we're not gonna be those same guys on ESPN and Fox at the whim of the master. We are the masters here. We run this crap. Now YouTube could say you guys are getting too big for us, but if that happens, there's other outlets to go to, so I wouldn't worry about that either.
Absolutely. Watch out, Mr. Beast. Watch out, Logan Paul. All right, we're coming.
Oh, please, no. That's not the plan.
Well,
and no, Intel,
right now, trying to get the money in the bank.
being a diva is a subjective interpretation.
Joe's been called a narcissist.
I've been called a narcissist, and there's and the easiest thing to say when you're being accused of something is to try to figure out why. Why is that comment or that interpretation, I should say, in your head? Is it the confidence? Is it conceited? Is it ego? Is it vain? I don't know. Believe what you want. What you want. I'll play up with it.
I said you're Mr. Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank is tomorrow, so
Money in the Bank is a true term, though. It's not just a line. I got a lot of money in the bank, and I continue to put money in the bank to a certain extent, because you don't want all your money in the bank. Banks don't do jack squat for you. You want your money moving. So if you guys want some financial advice, keep your money moving, because the second it sits, this is the same second that it drops down in value.
Once again, I feel almost like it's Lakers Financial Hour. It is the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate it. So for Joe Soro, LakersBall.com, and Simblades with a Y.com, it's Gerald Glassford from the Pop Culture Cosmos, and of course, Lakers Fast
Love
Break.
you, Intel. I know you're busting my balls.
Absolutely, Intel.
Forever,
amazing.
Forever and ever. You have
big shout out. I think of everybody, he was here longest the most. He's been waiting for us. He came, was waiting for us in the chat before we even started on the air. 6+ hours for Intel Wild with us. Absolutely amazing. Kudos to you. Kudos to everyone out there, all our new subscribers, all the people who stuck out with us today. It is the NBA free agency. Day 1 is coming to an end. We'll be back for more on day 2 this weekend. Looking forward to it. I know you are as well. From all of us to all of you, thank you so much for watching, listening, and taking some time out of your day to follow us all day long on the first day of free agency right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. All the best, everyone. Have a good weekend.